Okay, today's lecture is on 5.8, and it's applications of the quadratic equations. So quadratic equations is like where you have like the x squared plus 2x plus 4. Those are the quadratic equations. Okay, so what you're doing is you're having word problems that you're going to set up into a quadratic equation. Let me get that way to see the whole page. Okay, we'll start. You're doing the whole page, the first page here. I'll do an optional one here. Number 1 says there's a rectangular painting. So you could draw a picture on your paper if you need to. This actually on the picture in the book, it shows you the W and the 3W. Because the words tell you a rectangular painting is 3 times as long as it is wide. So here's your width. The length is 3 times as long as it is wide. And they already wrote that on there for you, but you need to be able to do that if it's not on there. Okay, it says the area of the picture is 588 square inches. Okay, so we have area, length, width. What you need to know is the formula for area. And if you don't know it right off the top of your head, on the back page of your book, you have a lot of the formulas there. If you forgot them, there's a lot of formulas there. Rectangle area is length times width. So if you forget some of the formulas, there they are. All right, so area is length times width. Okay, do we know the area of this? Oops, I put 558. It's 588, right? 588 square inches, right? The length, instead of putting L, we're going to put 3W. For the length, 3W times the width, W. Okay. Now, 3W times W is 3W squared, right? I'm gonna stop writing inches squared every time now. Okay, it's still not quite. See, when we solve quadratic equations, remember how we set them equal to 0? Okay, we want it where the x squared's on one side and 0's on the other side. So, or our w squared is on one side. So we need to subtract this to the other side, so we have 0. So subtract 588 from both sides. So you have 0 equals 3w squared minus 588. Now it looks like some stuff you were doing on your last homework, where you had to factor it and then solve it. What's the first thing you're looking for when you're factoring? Common factor. Is there a common factor? How do you tell if 3 divides into a number? You add it up. 8, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21. 3 goes into 21, so 3 is going to divide into that. We need to factor 3 out of that. Okay, this divided by 3 is w squared. 588 divided by 3? 196. 196. Okay, this is a subtraction, a perfect square. Does anybody know if 196 is a perfect square? If you take the square root of it and it's perfect, then you'll know it is.
Yeah.
It's 14?
Yeah.
Okay, this is 14 times 14. So when you factor this, you'll have the W, the 14 and 14, and what are the signs here? Remember, when it's a difference of squares, you have to have a plus and a minus. Okay? you're setting each one of these factors equal to 0. Okay, this cannot come out to anything. The 3 part's not going to give you an answer. Okay, if you add 14, it's a plus 14, you're going to subtract 14. And this one you'll add 14. Is the width probably going to be a negative number?
No.
No, when you measure something, it's always positive, right? So the negative isn't an answer either. We know the width is 14. Okay, it said to find the dimensions. You need both dimensions. So how are we going to find the length of it?
Multiply 14 times
3 times 14, right? 3 times 4 is 12, so it's 42. And what you could do to check to make sure, remember the area is length times width? So you could multiply 42 times 14 and make sure it comes out to 588. Okay, if area is square inches, what unit are these in? Are they in feet? Yards?
Inches.
They're in inches. I stopped writing it a long time ago, but you still need to remember the units, okay? So that's how you're going to figure out something if it has an area. You're going to use the area formula and make it equal to 0. Ooh, my eyes watering. Okay. Area. Looks like 2, 3, 4 is area. Number 5, we're going to a triangle. What's the area of a triangle? The area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. Okay? And number 5, it says a triangle is 10 centimeters wider than it is tall. So the height of it will be your how tall it is. The base of it is 10 longer than it is high, than it is tall. It says the area is 28 square centimeters. Oops, centimeters squared. Okay, find the height and the base. So, do we know the area? 28 square centimeters. What is the base?
H plus 10.
Right. And then times h. Okay, so let's not do the 1/2 part now. Let's just do this part. H times h is h squared. H times 10 is 10h, right? Okay, now let's multiply the 1/2 through. You can either leave it 1/2 or turn it into 0.5. It doesn't matter. Let's just go ahead and leave it 1/2. 1/2 h squared, that's that. Now 1/2 times 10h is what? 1/2 of 10. 5h. Remember, we want 0 over here, don't we? We're going to have 28 equals this, so we need to subtract the 28. So 0 equals 1/2 h squared plus 5h minus 28. Okay, we do not like the 1/2 there. If you multiply by 2, it could turn the 1/2 into 1. And then this will be factorable, you'll have the h squared by itself. So let's multiply everything by 2. Okay, every single term, multiply it by 2. 0 is still 0, right? Now 2 times 1/2 is 1, so that's h squared. 2 times 5 is 10. And then don't forget to leave the minus sign here. 2 times 28 is 56. Okay, to factor that, remember we need the h's. And I don't have room down here. It looks like I do, but that's actually the bottom of my paper. That's why I wanted to decide. Okay, 56 could be 1 times 56, 2 times 28, 3 won't go into it, 4 times 19, 5 won't go into it, 6 won't go into it, or it could be 7 times 8. Okay. This actually should come out. This is actually supposed to come out where the height is 4, so I don't know what's gone wrong here. Did I do something wrong?
4 times 14. is
4 times 14, okay, that's what I did wrong. Because it needs to subtract to give you 10. And none of those were subtracting to give us 10. Okay, now 4 and 14, that will work. Okay, they subtract to give you 10. Which one needs to be positive? The 14, right? Positive 14, negative 4 will give you a positive 10. Okay, so you have minus 4 and a plus 14. Remember, that's equal to 0. So if you set each one of these equal to 0, this one will be a positive 4, this one will be a negative 14. Which one would the height actually be?
Positive 4.
Won't be negative, right? So the height is positive 4. So height is 4, and so what will the base be? 4 plus 10, 14. The base is 14. And what units are we going to use here?
Centimeters.
Because this was centimeters squared, these will be in centimeters. So make sure you put your units on your answers. Okay, let's go to where we find consecutive numbers. Don't take a shortcut and just like divide by 2 or something like that. Because this will not work if you do that. These consecutive page numbers, I'm going to do number 19. It says the product. When you multiply the 2 page numbers, it will give you what the product is. Okay, the product of the page numbers of 2 facing pages is 210. Find the page numbers. Okay, these are consecutive pages, right? If they're facing each other, it's like page 1 and page 2, or 3 and 4. So your first page number, I'm going to put a dot here for multiply, because if we use X for the page number, we won't want an X between it. Okay, if X is your first page number, what's your second page number? Plus 1, right? They're consecutive, it'll be the next number after X. Okay, so if you have X times X plus 1, it should equal 210. Now multiply it out. X times X is X squared, plus X times 1 is X, equals 210. We need that to equal 0. So subtract 210. Equals 0. Now we need to factor that. What are the ways to get 210? 1 times 210, 2 times 105, 3 won't, 3 will go. 3 times 70, 4 won't go it. 5 will go into it. 5 times what? 42? Okay, will 6 go into it? If 2 and 3 go into it, 6 will. 6 will go into it how many times? 35. And 7? 3, 0. 30. Okay, how about 8? No. And 9? It doesn't add up to 9, so it won't go into it. 9. How about 10? 10 times 21. Okay, we gotta be getting close to the middle here because there's not many numbers between there. Will 11 go? No. 12?
No.
13? No. Huh?
14 goes into it.
14?
Yes.
How many times?
15 times.
14, 15. Oh, look at that. They're 1 apart. You need them to be 1 apart. So there's your 14 and 15. So you have X, and they're not both positive. They're different sides. You have 14 and 15. Positive is your bigger number. So you have 14 and a negative 15. 14 is your first page number, which you could tell by looking at these. 14 is the first one, 15 is your second one. Okay? So that's what it wants you to do. Don't just do this without it, okay? Go ahead and show that work. How about if we have even integers? The 21 and 22 are even. We'll do 23, it's an odd number. You're going to still use the same thing for consecutive odd. You have the first page number, okay, the product of 2 consecutive odd numbers. What's the next number going to be if it's odd or even? It's not going to be plus 1, plus 2. Okay, 23 says the product of 2 consecutive odd integers is 255. So do your x squared plus 2x, and then equals that, so we're going to subtract that, right? To make it 0. Minus 255 equals 0. There's nothing we can factor out by itself. You need the difference of the numbers to be 2. 1 times 255. 3 will go into it, but we know that's going to be way too big, right? 5 will go into it 51 times. I believe 17 goes into 51, so it's got to go into it. We know
15 and 17.
15 and 17, so 17 does go into it. And those are consecutive odd, right? So when you factor it, the 17 is positive, 15 is negative. So your numbers are 15 is your first one, and 17 is your second one. Okay? So that's all the consecutive ones that we'll do together. Now let's do one that has a right triangle. Remember, in a right triangle, here's your hypotenuse. Your legs are A and B. Remember, these are called legs. This is a leg, and the two legs make up your right angle. The hypotenuse is the one that is C. And we're going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem. Remember, it goes A squared plus B squared equals C squared, right? Okay, you're going to have to use that. Okay, let's do number 25. 25 says the length of one leg is 8 feet. Let's go ahead and draw a separate one. One of the legs is 8 feet. It doesn't matter which one, because these can be done backwards here. The length of the hypotenuse is 2 feet longer than the other leg. So we'll make the other leg X. This is 2 feet longer than the other leg, so it'll be X plus 2. Okay? So now we'll use this as our A and B here. 8 squared plus X squared equals the hypotenuse squared. That means you're going to have to FOIL that. It's squared, it's times itself. So if you do X plus 2 times X plus 2, you're going to have X times X is X squared, right? And then plus 2X plus 2X, and then the last times the last is plus 4. And let's bring these other two down here. 8 squared is what? 8 times 8? 64. Okay. Let's go ahead and subtract X squared from both sides. Look what it did, it got rid of it. That's nice. That's a good thing. Okay, 2X plus 2X, 4X plus 4. Okay, we still need it to equal, oh, we're solving for X, right? We don't have to have it equal to 0 if we can solve for X. We want to solve for X, so we need to get rid of the plus or minus part first. So plus 4, we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. 4X equals 60. We're dividing by 4. What is it?
15.
15. So if X is 15, what is our hypotenuse? 17. So that's the two unknown sides right there. And did it say, okay, it said this was 8 feet is what it told you. We didn't write that down when I just put the 8 there. This was in feet, so both of these will be in feet. Get those units in there. Okay. 27, 28, 29, those are all using the same Pythagorean theory. 32, same thing, Pythagorean theory. So that's all the types of problems you're going to be solving. You just need to start working on them and get them done. Any questions? Okay.